Happy Halloween, everybody. I'm going to be doing a 31 on 31 ranking of my own creation. I haven't collaborated with anyone about it. But first, I would like to rank the individual franchises that I'm going to be going over. So, it's going to be a little bit different in it's my own thoughts and not collaborated, as well as there's a lot more than 31 titles here. And the reason for that is with the Halloween series, I wasn't able to not have multiple things in first place. You'll see what I mean when we get there. But first up, I'm going to rank the scary movie series. I know these ones aren't technically horror movies. They're kind of making fun of horror movies, not like Scream where it's a legitimate, it makes fun of horror movies too, but it in and of itself is a horror movie, pointing out all the things that people usually do that are stupid in horror movies that get them killed. Whereas scary movies just dumb. People being dumb and making fun of horror movies like Scream does, but not in a very particularly effective way. So I'm going to show the movies and then I'll give my thoughts on them. We got Scary Movie 1. Oops, there's a weird light. Hold on. Scary Movie 1. Scary Movie 2. 3. 4. And 5. Okay. You'll see why I'm reviewing ranking these individually and then doing the super 31 on 31 quote unquote. You'll see why I do it this way because I ended up needing to fill space in my ranking for having so many things in first place. And you'll see what I mean when we get there. But since I like The Exorcist so much, Scary Movie 2 with that Exorcist scene with the demon child here wetting herself on the floor, and then the actual exorcism itself included, puts this one in first place for the franchise. Followed very closely by a Scream wannabe, the first scary movie. The first scary movie. It's much it's still very enjoyable. Both of these are very enjoyable. You'll notice in the grand scheme of things, I have them pretty low on the ranking because them and Scream are more poking fun at horror than being horror themselves. So they are lower in the overall ranking. In third place, we have one that I didn't really know many of the movies it was referencing, and so it was really convoluted and I didn't understand what was going on. That's the fifth one. It's not a bad movie. It's just I hadn't seen anything that it was ripping off. And so I didn't know what was going on most of the time. And for what they were going for, the movie itself is very entertaining. I just don't understand it. Next up, in fourth place, real shock here, you might be able to guess this one. Scary Movie 4 is in fourth place. I understood the things that it was referencing here with the Grudge, with the whole white Asian character thing there. Saw, I understood that. And he even tried doing the Ring sort of thing and War of the Worlds. I've seen all those things. Um, so that really worked for me. But I just didn't know what was going on in the fourth one. So it hurt the movie for me not knowing what the material they were parodying. And yeah. In last place for the scary movie franchise is the third one. Or in third place, I mean. Yeah, third place. Because 2 is in first, 1 is in second, 5 is in third, 4 is in fourth. So in last place is, or no, in third place, yeah, I think. Hold on. First, second, third, last. In fourth place is number 3. Or, yeah, in last place. So, I'm confused. Whichever position is left over is for this one. And we already went over my ranking for the Scream movies. I'll just kind of redo it here for real quick. Third or last place, number 3. Fourth place, number 4. Third, number 2. And actually tied for first place is the original and the newest one. Because I liked how the original was like, oh hey, this is how you survive a horror movie. And then with this one, all bets were off. A lot of people died in this one, and it's such a great follow up, almost to the original one. Not so much to this one, Scream 4, but it's a good follow up to the original. So yeah, that is my quick synopsis of that. For the Mummy movies that I'm including in this ranking, we have the original Mummy in first place, followed by The Mummy Returns in second place, the Tom Cruise Mummy in third, and in last place is Mummy 3, Tomb of the Dragon Emperor. I don't necessarily have anything against this one. It's just the setting changed from the setting of the first 2 and even the remake here, that it didn't make sense in the franchise. So I put it lower. And with this ranking, I'm going to be cheating a little bit because I have 2 cuts of the same movie in different positions. But first, starting off with the Predator solo films. For the solo Predator movies, the original is in first place because I love Arnold Schwarzenegger action movies, and this kind of qualifies as that. Then, which one do I have next here? Predator 2 is in second place. Shocker, 2 in second. Then I have Predators, the third one, in third place for the franchise. The newest one, Prey, which I don't have yet. I watched it on Hulu, I believe. That one was really good. So it's my 4th place, but you'll see it's higher up on the list in the grand scheme of things. It's just for the Predator series itself, I like the first 3 more than I liked Prey. And in last place, not because it's a bad movie or anything, just because it's got a little complicated in the mythology, is this one. Even though that case looks spectacular. Oh my goodness, look at that. Wow. I liked the giant predator that was like the evil predator, and then there was one that was trying to help out against that one. I liked that stuff. Getting into probably more of a controversial ranking here, is the Alien franchise, the Alien solo films. The reason it might be a bit controversial is because of the divided fan bases of Prometheus, which I spelled wrong in my thing. I have notes that I took while I was watching the movies, and I spelled it wrong both times. Whoops. Anyway, in last place for the Alien standalone or like solo films is Prometheus, because it's barely an alien film. I get that it's going for like an origin story, which I can get down for that. I enjoy origin stories more than a lot of people do. But the xenomorph doesn't even show up until like 2 minutes before the credits roll in. It doesn't have any time to do any mayhem. And so superficially, it is an alien, but it's not a xenomorph alien movie. It's just superficially an alien movie, so it's easily in last place, and that's consistent with last place in the grand scheme of things too, because this is just terrible. A lot of people like this movie, but I think it's awful. It doesn't deliver on anything that I wanted it to, and it just sucked. I'm sorry, it's terrible. So, one I'm a little nicer to, that's in 12th place for the 13 Alien movies, is Alien Covenant. It has a xenomorph in it for more than the previous one, Prometheus, did. It does have some of the Prometheus like world building and like prequel stuff, like explaining things, how the human race came to be, and so it did get bogged down with the backstory stuff like that a little bit, but it actually has xenomorphs in it for the majority of the runtime, which makes it easily 1,000 times better, in my mind, than Prometheus. I could bag on Prometheus all day long, but yeah, so that's what that is. Okay, let's see. Looking at my notes here. Yes. Okay. Next up, one that I actually like more than some people, Alien 3. I like where the original Alien quadrilogy was going. I like all the entries in that series, but of the original 4, I do like this one the least, but that's not really saying much because I love them all. I only have 2 place rankings for that overall, the original 4. 1 and 2 are in first, this and 4 are in last. So, I do love this movie. It's just, the prison setting makes me a little uncomfortable, because it seems like a lot more could go wrong in a prison that has nothing to do with the xenomorphs. If you know what I mean, you know what I mean. So yeah, that one I'm a little harder on. Next up is Alien 4. I liked how they cloned Ripley in this one to bring her character back, and um, it's an enjoyable enough Alien movie. It gets a little weird at times. The aliens can swim. There you go. You learn that in this. They have alien-human hybrid clone things that don't make any sense and beg to die. Like, literally, one of them is like, kill me now. And so that kind of brings it down a little bit for me. That's why these two are in the bottom two for Alien solo outings. Our runner-up in the Aliens like standalones is Aliens. I liked how it seemed like a bigger scale of things going on than was present in the original film. And what I mean by that is there were more aliens, more xenomorphs. The little girl in this, I can't remember her character's name, but her character was stereotypical, like adorable little girl that everyone loves. And so I really dug that. I'm really good with kids. I love kids, and so seeing a cute kid in a movie is a lot of fun for me. And it's like, oh, how cute. But in first place for the Alien solo films is the original Alien. The original Alien movie, I like this one the most because it goes for excellence by simplicity. The plot is very straightforward. An alien infects someone that lands on a planet. They go back to their ship. The alien births itself by bursting out of the person's torso, kills a bunch of people, and ends up killing everyone but Sigourney Weaver and the cat that's in the movie. And then, I think Ellen Ripley, is that her name? Yeah, Ripley. Ripley ends up detaching like a pod thing from the main ship when she set the ship to self-destruct. And I like the flamethrower sequences. I also like how this one doesn't swear a lot. There is swearing, but it's not a lot. I'm not someone that likes a lot of swearing, which is why Scarface doesn't resonate with me very much, because there's over 200 F words, and it's like for like a 2.5 hour, 3 hour runtime, something like that. And it's like, how many different ways can you say bleep you? Like, come on. Alright, real quick, before going on, a little bit of a disclosure. I said that I have two of the same movies twice in this video, like different cuts, and you're gonna see what I mean right now. So, in last place for the Alien vs. Predator is the theatrical cut of the original AVP. Now, this one is in last place because being PG-13, they couldn't do as gory or as horrendous as an Alien vs. Predator movie or should be, which is a problem resolved with another movie in this portion. You'll see what I mean. when we get there. Now, full disclosure, I have not watched the unrated version of Alien vs. Predator Requiem. The only reason it's not in last place is because the theatrical cut of the original AVP doesn't work for me. I like how it does have gore still, but not nearly enough. The unrated version fixes that issue. So in third place is the unrated Requiem, right there. This is in third place. I like keeping it in its box set because it's convenient. Our runner-up in this portion of the franchise, or of the ranking video here, is the unrated Alien vs. Predator 1. It ups the gore and things that you enjoyed about Requiem and the individual franchises. It ups that. Well, still not swearing very much. But easily in first place, even though the lighting in it really sucks, because it's very dark, with very dark colored creatures, so you can't really see what's going on most of the time, is a theatrical cut of Alien vs. Predator Requiem. This one's in first place for me because even though the lighting is dark, like I mentioned, I still enjoy it quite thoroughly. So that's that. Next up is the Halloween franchise. And you'll see what I mean by this one gets very convoluted with my ranking, because I like 5 of them enough to have them in first place. So it's very convoluted for that reason. Let's get started. Easily in last place because it doesn't fit with the rest of the franchise at all. And it doesn't work as an as a Halloween movie at all. Because when I think Halloween, I think of this guy, Michael Myers. He is the Halloween franchise. You cannot have a Halloween movie without him in it. This one ignores that. Halloween 3 Season of the Witch has nothing to do with Michael Myers at all, beyond playing the trailer for this movie. This movie is phenomenal. I love this movie. This one sucks. This one is such an oddball in the franchise. The skeleton mask shown here reappears in the 2018 and Halloween Kills movies. So that's resurrected in I'd say recanonized, because I do not count this as Halloween canon. Now, that being said, as a horror movie, this works just fine. I enjoy this as a horror movie, not a Halloween movie. It is not Halloween-esque at all, other than taking place at that time of year. This movie frustrates me. You may have just noticed that. In 12th place, again, I cheated. In 12th is both Rob Zombie Halloween movies. These ones are filled with characters that you that are just such horrible, terrible people that they're unlikable, unredeemable, and you want them to die. You actually want the characters in these movies to die because they are horrible people. They do have Michael Myers in it, which stays true to the franchise, but the characters are just horrible people. In the first one, Michael's parent, or well, maybe his dad, Michael's dad is awful. He's a drunk that doesn't get off his derriere for anything or anyone, and he expects his wife and older daughter to do everything for him, including, if I'm not mistaken, getting his beers. So I actually cheered when I saw him get killed. I was like, yes, kill that jerk. But this one's more redeemable than this one is. Because in this one, like Sean Chandler pointed out, it has necrophilia and pedophilia. And those two areas, seeing as I'm so good with kids and love kids in a very positive and cheerful way, those two subject matters, more specifically pedophilia, just rub me the wrong way. And there are ambulance drivers talking about getting boners from pedophilia and necrophilia, and that's just gross. Why did you do that, Rob Zombie? Why? Awful idea for a franchise. It makes the viewer sick, makes them want to gouge their eyes out and like uh, destroy their hearing, because that is not what a Halloween movie is supposed to do. So these two are in 12th place. Yeah. So these ones are just as bad as Season of the Witch, which is surprising because they actually have Michael Myers in it. And then in the second one, they were also dealing with a lot of like different characters having PTSD and nightmares from the events of the first movie. That part of it works just fine, but those ambulance drivers, what on earth were you thinking, Rob Zombie? That is a terrible idea. Uh, let's see. Moving forward, we have, where is it? Um, in uh, in 11th place is Halloween Resurrection. It was kind of like making fun of the franchise, turning it into like a um, a farce. So it kind of credits itself a little bit, but it is better than the other two that I mentioned, or the other three, I should say. Season of the Witch and the Rob Zombie versions. It is better than those, and the kills are pretty great and are pretty good in this one. You don't really want any of the characters to die, but you know that they have to for the story to go on. In 10th place is Halloween H2O. I liked how this one was 20 years later, and Michael comes back and is like, hey, I'm gonna kill you. I think the silent slashers are creepier than the ones that talk, like Freddy and Chucky. Those ones, and Ghostface, those ones aren't as creepy as the silent stalking killers. Because if you're being silently stalked instead of like insulted or something from Freddy, you're gonna be a lot more scared in that scenario. Next up is Halloween 6, The Curse of Michael Myers. I can see where they were going with this one. The execution wasn't all that great, but there were still some really good kills and things in this. I don't think it does anything particularly wrong with the franchise, but the execution just didn't go off without a hitch, I have to say. For the next two things, you're going to see the same case because I got a double feature of 5 and 4. In, I think we're at 9th or 8th place. In whichever place we're at, 8th or 9th, I don't know, is this one, Halloween 4. I liked the direction they were going with the little girl, Jamie. I liked where they were going with her storyline, and they made it seem like she would be the killer in the next movie, when she wasn't. But I still really enjoy these movies. With number 5 is in 7th or 8th or wherever the heck we are. I lost track. I'm sorry. But that one's higher up than Halloween 4 because it builds upon what I liked in the 4th movie and adds more kills. So it works a little bit better for me. So now in first place, yep, skipping all the way to first because I forgot where we were, is a 5-way tie. I only have 4 of the movies because one of them is still in theaters. But in first place in this ranking, of the individual ranking and the 31 on 31 portion of this, is Halloween, the original, Halloween 2, Halloween 2018, and both versions of this counted as one, and Halloween Ends. I love all 5? 5? 5. Yes, 5. 5 of these movies a lot because they give you enough carnage candy to be wildly entertained. The original one knows how to build suspense by not just like having the creepy music play throughout. They only play it when something intense is about to happen, which makes it so much more effective. And Halloween 2 takes place right where this one leaves off. And you see where Laurie ends up. That most of it takes place in a hospital because they have to tend to her wounds and all that stuff. So there's some great hospital kills in this movie. There's also some great hospital kills, if I'm not mistaken, in Halloween Kills, I think? Could be mistaken. No, wait, there's some great hospital kills in Rob Zombie's Halloween 2. But I already talked about that one. You know my thoughts on it. It's crass, it's gross, it leaves a bad taste in my mouth whenever I watch it. Anyway, this one is not the case. This one is a far superior Halloween 2. Far superior. It goes hand in hand with the original, so I count them as one entry because it feels like it's one movie split directly in half in a very good way. With Halloween 2018, I like how it's 40 years later and they're still dealing with Michael Myers, but they're doing so in kind of a fresh and different way. So it's not just, we'll do this one all over again. Laurie Strode comes back, and she takes the initiative to trap and try and kill Michael instead of just being afraid of him the whole time like she was in the original, which I think works really well because the hunter became the hunted, and that continues to a certain extent in Halloween Kills, because in Halloween Kills, Michael manages to escape from the house burning up on him in the 2018 version. He manages to escape. His mask gets burnt a bit, obviously, because he was in a fire. But then the entire town pulls a Laurie Strode and tries hunting him down to save people and kill him. And that works for me because it's not just people getting killed off. They're putting up a good fight. And with Halloween Ends, I like that one a lot because it feels like for me, a really good like bookend to the series, where next up I would like to see them like redo the franchise with new actors, not using anything from Rob Zombie at all, and then like recasting Jamie Lee Curtis, as hard as that would be. Find someone that's just as effective in a horror movie. Like if they wanted to do a young Laurie Strode again, they could do Emma Roberts. She's proven herself in Scream 4 to be not only a great horror victim or scream queen, but also being a great killer. And I think if they were to reboot the franchise and do at least 2 Halloween movies, in the first one she could be like scared out of her wits of Michael, or whoever the killer ends up being in the reboot. It doesn't have to be Michael Myers. They could do that, and then they could um, turn that on its head and like redeem whoever the killer is and turn Laurie into the killer. That would work really well. I would love to see something like that where Laurie Strode is so traumatized from whoever the serial killer is, whether they reboot Michael Myers himself or whatever they do, having her be so messed up from what she goes through in the original movie, to have her snap and be the killer in the second movie, and have it be like, oh, Michael was misunderstood. He had no reason to be a killer. Laurie has a reason. She could have been the killer from Halloween 2 to the end of the franchise, because she went through so much crap with Michael and was scared out of her wits a couple of different times, that having her turn into a killer would be justified, because it would be justified because she's so traumatized that it breaks her personality, instead of just making her ultra paranoid like like it did for the most recent trilogy of Halloween films. They could have her snap in such a way that instead of being paranoid, she goes on a murder spree. I would love to see that. Now, the moment that I actually was making this video for is the super ranking of all of these movies. Bear with me. I'm not going to be sharing as many thoughts on the movies this time around because I've already done that. So this is just going to be placement, which in and of itself is different from how other YouTubers do 31 on 31 rankings. And I didn't know I have a lot more than 31 titles. So, without further ado, let me get back to the Alien franchise here. In last place with the 31 on 31, once again, it made last place in 2 portions of this video. Prometheus. I've said it numerous times. Prometheus bugs me. It's so boring. There's not much going on in this movie. And the xenomorph shows up at the very end. Duh. Come on. It's an alien movie with no alien until like the last 2 minutes of the film, which I think is just lazy. So that's that one. That's last place. In next to last place is Season of the Witch. Because as a horror movie, it works just fine. As a Halloween movie, it doesn't work at all. No Michael Myers, no Halloween. That's the golden rule. At least for the franchise at large. Then in 29th and 28th place are Rob Zombie's Halloween 1 and 2. The second one is lower in 29th and 28th since it doesn't have the major plot problems that I mentioned with the ambulance drivers. Because it doesn't have that in the first movie, the first Rob Zombie Halloween is more likable than the second. And then, irregardless of the cut of the movie, Alien vs. Predator 1, whether it be the PG-13 or the unrated version, is in 27th place as a twofer. And then in 26th place is Alien Covenant. Now, I don't think Alien Covenant does anything inherently wrong. It builds on some of the mythology they were building with this a little bit more when David shows up. David's the android in this one. But it does get a little convoluted when he comes into the mix. But it's not as bad as Prometheus because it actually has aliens in it that aren't the giant humanoid ones, as is on the cover of this one. That is not the alien that Alien is all about. So it's frustrating. Then next after that, we have, where is it? The Mummy 3. In my notes, I have it under the wrong subtitle. I have it as Return of the Dragon Emperor when it's Tomb of the Dragon Emperor. But I couldn't think of what the title was. I knew it had something to do with the Dragon Emperor. So, yeah. I do like this movie. Just not the same way I like the other ones. So, after that, we have Predator 4, The Predator. This one. And like I said, that one doesn't do anything inherently wrong. There's a couple of unnecessary bits of dialogue that are just bodily humor. But it's coming from someone who's schizo and can't really control what he says because he also has Tourette's. At least that's what it seems like. So it's a little more forgivable. But Yeah. Then after that one is Predator 2. You'll notice in this ranking that this is lower. Or no, never mind. Never mind. It is lower down in the list because there's so many other movies that I like more than this one, but I do really enjoy this one. Next up is Halloween H2O. I just recently finished talking about that, so I'm not going to go into a huge amount of detail. I like how it's 20 years later and Michael Myers is still a problem for Laurie. He ends up finding her after she changes her name, and he finds her at the college that she's working at. So it's not in Haddonfield very much, but it works. Then Halloween 6 and Halloween 5 are in 15th and 14th, respectively. 5 is in 14. Then Alien vs. Predator 2, the R or the unrated version. No, is in 13th place. Not because it does anything inherently wrong, just because there's other movies I like better than it, just like Predator 2. Then Alien vs. Predator 1 unrated is placed differently than the theatrical cut here. So that one's, like I said, better than the theatrical version of the original Alien vs. Predator. And then next after that is the Tom Cruise Mummy, because full disclosure, I've only seen this movie once, and so I don't really remember a lot about it right now to rank it higher up. But I remember what I did see in it was quite good. Then we have Alien 4 in 10th place. That rounds out our top 10, or starts off our top 10 right there. Then we have Alien 3 in 9th place. Predator 5, Prey in 8th place. Alien vs. Predator 2, Requiem, R-rated version in 7th place. The Mummy Returns in 6th. The Original Mummy in 5th place. Set these ones aside now. And I can put the I can't put the Halloween ones back yet. And then Predator, the original, is in 4th place. Before I give you my top 3 for these, I forgot to mention that in 19th through 24th places are tied with each other in their positions. 19th is Scary Movie and Scream. 20 is Scream 2, Scary Movie 2, etc. Down to through 5. I forgot to mention that. But without further ado, I see we're almost at 50 minutes here. In 3rd place overall with this 31 on 31 is Predators. Predator 3, Predators. Lawrence Fishburne has an enjoyable on-screen presence, and he's present in this movie. And it takes place on the Predator world, I think, instead of Earth, which is a nice different take on the location. So I do like all that kind of stuff. And our runner-up is Alien, the original. And not because it does anything particularly wrong, just because I like those 5 Halloween movies better. But in number 1, once again, is Halloween 1978, Halloween 2, Halloween 2018, Halloween Kills, and Halloween Ends. I loved the direction that all 5 of those movies were going in. I think Halloween 2 could have been a little bit longer. It could have had a longer runtime than 93 minutes. But that's a very minor issue. The entire Halloween franchise could have been longer movies. Do I want them having a bunch of 3-hour movies? No. Do I want them all to be at least 2 hours? I think they deserve 2-hour runtimes. Except for the third one and the 2 Rob Zombie ones. Because, like I said, those 3 movies just are awful in the franchise. The Rob Zombie Halloween movies are gross beyond the goriness of them. And so for that reason, they're not great, and I do not enjoy watching those ones. I actually put off watching them while prepping for this ranking because of how much I don't like them, and I skipped this one altogether. I skipped it altogether. I'm just going to be honest. There are fans of Season of the Witch, and as a scary movie, like I said, I do enjoy Halloween 3. It's just not a Halloween movie for me, because Halloween movies are supposed to have Michael Myers. Regardless of if Laurie Strode is in it or not, you gotta have Michael Myers in a Halloween movie, because that's his franchise. And Halloween 3 cuts him out of the mix. In the words of Iron Man, not a great plan. So cutting Michael Myers out of the mix for Halloween 3 Season of the Witch, in the immortal words of Iron Man, not a great plan. I've heard that I'm not the only one that's very annoyed with how that goes, so I don't feel too bad about bashing it so much, because it's awful as a Halloween movie. As a horror movie, it's mediocre at best, but as a Halloween movie, it is horrible. I can't wait to get Halloween Ends, and I want to get, including the ones I don't like very much, I want to get the entire Halloween franchise on 4K and regular or standalone Blu-ray. So which means I'm probably not going to get the combo packs for the 4K combo pack unless there's no other option. Like this one's just a standalone 4K. It doesn't have a Blu-ray in it, so you had no choice if you wanted the Blu-ray to get this. Of course, there's always a choice, but I didn't like how they. Oops. I'll get that in a second. I didn't like how the Blu-ray was not included in the 4K, because a lot of times you see 4Ks with the Blu-rays in them. I call them 4K combo packs. All my MCU 4Ks are like that, and it works really well. But there you go. That is my convoluted 31 plus on 31. If you can be respectful about it, feel free to disagree. I don't want to have people being like, you hated my favorite in the franchise. What are you doing? because it's just my thoughts on the movies. I would love to hear your guys's. I don't know if the chat box is set up for that, but I would love to hear your guys' comments on these movies. I just ranked them the way I did because, based on my enjoyment, there is no enjoyment for Season of the Witch, Prometheus, and the Rob Zombie Halloween movies. I'm sorry, they are just terrible for me. And while the theatrical cut of Alien vs. Predator 1 is watchable, it doesn't live up to the premise. So, that's all that I have to say on these things. If possible, share your comments, share your rankings of all these movies. This is a different ranking than Sean Chandler collaborated with others to do, because I wanted to do something unique that I hadn't really seen anywhere else. And moving forward, I'm going to rank more horror franchises individually. My next 31 on 31 in December is going to be Disney / Pixar, where it's going to have all the Pixar movies. There's 26 and 5 others. 2 of the other 5 will be Frozen 1 and 2, which I'm the Frozen freak of my family. I love it the most, I think. The runner-up would probably be my sister. But I love the Frozen movies. I want it to be a trilogy. I think they could give Anna powers in the third one and be like, oh yeah, my powers have just been dormant in the other 2. Now I can make fire. That would be so cool. But yeah, so I haven't decided what the other 3 movies to rank in that video will be, because there's 26 Pixar movies, 2 Frozen movies. That leaves space for 3 more items. I could do live action 101 Dalmatian movies, including Cruella. I could do that. That would work just fine. Actually, I think I'm going to do that, come to think of it. So my next ranking will be the live action 101 Dalmatian franchise, including Cruella, both Frozen movies, and all the Pixar movies. So yeah, that to look forward to in December. I'm going to start prepping for that ranking. Like 2 weeks before, or like in the second week of November. So I have the majority of November to plan or to watch the movies over again. Of course, I also have to get some of them because I don't like talking about movies that I don't have unless it's still in theaters. But there you have it. That is my thoughts on the franchises that I just ranked. And an idea of how much I enjoyed the new Scream movie is several months after getting this standalone DVD, I not only double dipped with the Blu-ray, but I triple dipped with the 4K. Because I just loved this movie so much. It's so good. So satisfying. I hope there's a Scream 6. I don't know if there's going to be, but I would thoroughly enjoy that. And I would be curious where they're going to go with it, because I'm pretty sure one of the legacy characters got killed off in that one. But yeah. Also, I watched Eurotrip it was a European trip story thing. And I'll give my thoughts on that in a future video because this one's now over an hour long. And but I did enjoy that movie. It was not the best, but I did enjoy it. So until my next much smaller ranking video comes out, keep talking movies, my peeps. And check out Sean Chandler's ranking or 31 on 31 rankings because he goes deeper into the like what makes certain movies work more than others. And there's the other people that he collaborates with. I can't remember what their name is. I think one is Cody Leach. Check out all their videos as well because they're companion videos to Sean's that work really well in presenting the material. I've watched a couple of them myself. I've liked, I think, one of them. And, yeah. Sean Chandler inspired me to make my channel. And so I try and give him a shout out every now and again. So I'm a huge fan of his. And I actually ordered a blue hoodie that has his I Talk Movies Too Much logo on it, where it has like the comics above, I think, and Disney below, and movies in the middle. And I think it'd be awesome if I could get him to sign it. Like maybe like meet him in person, like and be like, hey, could you sign this shirt? I think that'd be so cool. But anyway, now as we are at an hour and 2 minutes, this is going to take a long time to upload. So hope you have a good rest of your Halloween. I'll be going out as Phantom of the, or not going out, but like I'll be dressing up as the Phantom of the Opera, including like facial distortions underneath the mask. So I'll do a video in my costume like that. The bulk of the costume itself is just my suit that I wear every single week. I've tried the last couple of years to dress up as Venom and just haven't had any luck. So I kind of gave up on dressing up as Venom for now and decided to go with the Phantom of the Opera. I can't decide which facial distortions to do though. If I should do the one that has like this brain matter showing from the stage production, or if I should do the more conservative, boily looking facial distortions that burns and boils from the Gerard Butler take on the character. So I will do a video showcasing my costume. Or I'll just do a video in my costume. I'll be clean shaven for it because the Phantom is clean shaven, which means I might do it later today or tomorrow just to show off my costume, and I might not do it at all. So while I'm deciding what to do about that, enjoy movies. This is a great place to talk about movies on YouTube. Don't forget to like, leave a comment if possible, and subscribe to my channel and support Sean Chandler's channel as well as Movies for Sue or Movies and Sue, something like that. Her videos are really good too. She never gets in on the 31 on 31s to my knowledge, but she does put out a lot of good content. So just check out those YouTubers as well. Their channels are fun, entertaining, family friendly, and a good way to spend hours on end. But happy Halloween. Bye.